Nigeria's governing party, the All Progressives Congress, is addressing criticisms from some dissatisfied members of the party. It has now held its National Executive Committee meeting after Tuesday's National Caucus meeting. Although there is a provision for a quarterly meeting of the National Executive Committee, the party's constitution also provides discretion for the national chairman to summon a NEC meeting. Mary Chinda reports.
With the growing tempo of political alignments and realignments in the build-up to the 2027 polls and the seeming disquiet and threats of defection by some power blocs within the party, the National Executive Committee, NEC, of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has passed a vote of confidence on President Bola Tinubu. The motion, which was moved by the chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum, Senator Hope Uzodinma, and former APC National Chairman, Senator Adams Oshomole, was unanimously supported by the party's leadership.
Satisfied with the manifest and laudable achievements of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR in less than 2 years in office, national security has improved. Be it moved that this august body do pass a vote of absolute confidence on the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR.
A lot has changed, and a lot is changing under your command. As Commander-in-Chief, extension is in our own national interest. So I rise to support this motion and urge us that we are also the ambassadors of the party. We are all spokesmen of the party. We must market what we do.
At the meeting, the second since President Tinubu took office in 2023, the president reaffirmed his commitment to the party and to fulfilling the promises made to the electorate. He emphasized the APC-led federal government's dedication to national development.
I am moved with your vote of confidence. I am indeed happy and I accept it. I accept it as a challenge to do more work.
National Chairman of the APC, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, reiterated the party's determination to win the 2027 elections, further cementing the party's focus on long-term political success.
The APC is one big united family. There exists a cordial working relationship between our party, the leadership and members at the National Assembly, the Progressive Governors Forum, the state chapters of the party, and the National Working Committee. While this leadership continues to work stronger, the opposition parties are virtually confused, visibly polarized, and in total disarray.
The Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives highlighted key achievements under President Tinubu's leadership.
Why Man of the Year? A man who took the tough decisions. A man who chose development to politics. A man who chose the people above self. A man who decided to think of the next generation instead of thinking of the next election.
His extraordinary leadership is rewriting our national destiny. Across all sectors, we are witnessing not just the resilience of our country and its people, but also the transformative impact of these courageous policies.
Some of the party's governors had this to say.
The naysayers will continue to say, well, nothing is happening. They simply need to understand the context first. It was quite a very difficult and bitter pill for anyone at all to have swallowed on the removal of the oil subsidy. We saw in the last 8 to 12 months a stable naira that would allow you to make forward investment decisions.
Governors Ahmed Ododo of Kogi and Governor Monday Okpebholo of Edo State were formally integrated into the party's NEC. Mary Chinda, Arise News.
Joining us now is Osita Okechukwu, a chieftain and founding member of the All Progressives Congress and the former Director General of Voice of Nigeria. Good morning, Mr. Okechukwu. Good to see you today on the morning show.
Good morning, Sister Ayo. Good morning, Professor Killer.
Good morning.
And good morning, Rufai the Incisive.
Hey,
the Incisive.
good to see you, sir.
All right,
my one and only chieftain.
I don't know if you were present at the, or at least had any participation at those two meetings, the caucus meeting the day before and then the National Executive Committee meeting of the APC. But I'd like you to share with us your evaluation of the outcome of that meeting. I don't think I should ask you whether or not you agree with the vote of confidence. I think that's quite glaring because whenever you come here, you are full of high praises for the president. But in terms of reconciliation, let's talk about that right now. Reconciliation. Who are these members that are aggrieved? There were some notable faces that were missing at that meeting. And then how would you propose that this reconciliation goes about? I mean, someone like El Rufai, for instance, is there a possibility of a reconciliation with him or reconciling him back to the party as well as the other principal actors as well?
Thank you, Ayo. But permit me not to gloss over the vote of confidence because the communique is like a Bible. It doesn't contain every detail.
Okay, please go.
We were hanging around because I'm just a member, but I managed to be hanging around the venue of both the caucus and the NEC. The vote of confidence was based on three grounds. One, for the huge attention Mr. President had paid to the security that had been rendering our economic development prostrate. For the past going to 2 years, he had paid enormous attention with huge investment in the kinetic security and the non-kinetic. I will not talk of the kinetic one because it is not for public consumption. The much he had done to reinforce the military, even on their welfare. But I will talk on the fact that he created the livestock ministry and gave the minister the mandate to make sure that he will halt, if not stop, the farmers' head-out crisis that have made some crop farmers not to go to their farms. And they happened to have met the minister, and he told me that about 17 states had agreed to donate land for huge livestock development, and they had met some friends of Nigeria accordingly. And secondly, Mr. President as well had initiated and is doing enormous in the critical infrastructure. The other day he was at Enugu and we were there, and he promised that, like the Western Corridor, he's going to initiate standard gauge rail line and also gas pipeline, which covers about 18 states from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. So I think it's a major milestone. And the import is one of those points that led the vote of confidence. And he initiated the Progressive Institute. That one concerns our party, but it's important for intellectual development. And as you said, he looked back and said that the confidence will means more hard work for the good people of Nigeria. And he talked of the crisis in the states. Yes, it's not only we knew that such crisis will come the day we won the election in 2015. Because human beings, they want to go to greener pastures. So it's not only the big ones that you can talk about. Even in my local ward at Eke in Enugu, a few days ago, the chairman of the local council party, the chairman of the party at the local level, went to my ward and imposed a leadership, and it led to fracas. We had to call the security agents to help us to resolve it. So it happens everywhere. We have enough iniquity, and people not normally You don't expect such fights in my friends, the party headed by my friend, Chief Dan Waya, with the Zenith Labour Party. You don't need such crisis because there's nothing much to fight. So those who are trooping to the APC, don't blame them. They are coming because there's a lot of goodies, 2,000 plus parastatals, some larges here and there. So we expect that, but it was good that Mr. President had mandated the national chairman to look into the crisis across the board because the crisis is not unexpected.
All right, how about the reconciliation? I mean, like I said, I'm sure you have a lot to say about the vote of confidence, but how about the reconciliation?
The reconciliation it had been there. Even before the entry of the current chairman, Abubakar Umar Ganduje, the Abdullahi Adamu, before he became chairman, he was the chairman of the Reconciliation Committee. So there's a handbook to lay hands on. Whichever committee is constituted tomorrow, if they mean well, we need the handbook so that it could help to reconcile states where there are intra-party squabbles, which, as I said, it heightens by the day because a lot of people do not want to sit on it, especially when the main opposition parties are by their own greed and unforced error had destabilized their own party. Because when they decided to ditch the rotation convention of president from north to south that had been instituted since the Fourth Republic, that led to the PDP crisis. I read a few days ago, is it today, where one of the top officials of His Excellency Atiku Abubakar was trying to cast the blame outside. He forgot that the PDP, in 1999, they shoved Dr. Alex Ekwuemo, blessed memory, aside. The zone still voted for the PDP. In 2003, we came with late Chuba Okadibo as vice president to Buhari. And we told our people, this is the new alliance. They said no, they are still stuck. They will put all their eggs in PDP. In 2007, we went to the Right Honorable Bezoke. Our people still rejected us. In 2011, they still rejected us and stuck to the PDP. 2019, the same thing. And His Excellency Atiku Abubakar that benefited from those trust of support from that region of the country did not consider it fit that is their turn to become a presidential, to run for the presidency. And today is blaming, shouting foul. And that's what created the Wike masquerade. When some people blame Wike, I say you should not blame the young man. The young man stood on principle that there is a convention, a ligament that is holding the North and the South together. Because each group wants to one day preside over the country. And if we deny them such, they will feel aggrieved. And that grief is raging on. I don't know how PDP will manage it. So, but they should not blame anybody. If they are building a new coalition, we're waiting for that because we need it.
Congratulations for your just concluded caucus and NEC meeting. It took a while, but eventually it happened. Just two very quick questions. On a very personal note, I know these meetings are at the discretion of the chairman. On a very personal note, is it okay for you that it took 2 years to have just one, when by now you ought to have had 8 of those meetings? And then you left the meeting saying there's no vacancy in Aso Rock. Do you know of anybody in APC planning to contest against Tinubu?
Thank you, Prof. I'm happy that you're a teacher in the studentry, both in primary school, secondary, or tertiary. Some students that might come top of the class, they don't read until there's an exam. So I think that Mr. President, the leader of the party, he knows the right time to call the shops. And maybe he belongs to the school of students that do not read until exam time. So I hope there will be more activities in terms of the organs of the party as we approach 2027 general elections. So pardon that on our side.
Okay. Dr. Okechukwu.
So the other one, yes.
I'm not a doctor. I couldn't pass the exam. I'm Mr. Okechukwu.
Is there somebody else planning to run against Tinubu in APC that you're aware of? Except Ayo.
No, I don't think the fact. No, I don't think the fact of vote of confidence closes the avenue. We're a progressive party. We came from progressive formation. For instance, if my people say that the supporters of the APC have supported the Northern for 13 years, from 2002 to 2015, we're now supporting a Westerner. So if tomorrow they say, okay, to go and run, you are above 35 years of age, I don't think the party will close the shop to me or to any other person. But the vote of confidence, as I said, is to reinforce Mr. President in the good infrastructural development going on, in the kinetic and non-kinetic arsenal for security to bring our people back to life, and other internal. You can imagine the day Nnewi, as an industrial hub, will have a gas supply. And when there will be standard gauge rail that runs a minimum of 100 kilometers per hour, those oil tankers that are falling will not fall anymore.
Amen.
Because the rail line and the railways, they also have tankers that will carry petrol or diesel. And there is no question of police stopping the train on the road or collecting, extorting them. There is no question of bad roads. The rail line is more stringent for such matters. So if it comes, there will be a lot of improvement in that. My brother, thank you. I agree with you.
Amen.
You can imagine between Benue to Port, you have over 20 police stations, police roadblocks. Those things will be eliminated.
Okay, Mr. Okechukwu, let's talk about the economy. Part of the things he said at that meeting was President Tinubu had revamped the economy and all of that. I mean, from your point of view, what's your take on that, number one? Number two, what's going to be like the future role for those that feel disgruntled in the party, the Aerofires of this world, you know, where the Ameches of this world, and a couple of other people that played a prominent role or two leading up to the last election? And why didn't we see your man there, President Buhari?
Thank you very much, the incisive. I always admire watching you when you come with your incisive questions. Let me start from the fact of the infrastructure development, what it will mean for the non-oil sectors. The MBS reported it. They said the non-oil sector had contributed over 90% to our GDP. Why is that the case? It's because of civil critical infrastructure being put on the ground. I won't tell you what Mr. President is doing in UBEC. It's only some states that refuse to match the grants that the universal basic primary education is offering. Or the TED fund, what is offering the universities. Nobody mentioned that. So Mr. President is gradually trying to give life to the economy. And I was one of those. The day I appeared there after the interview, they called me to the villa. They said, please go and meet the Minister of Agriculture. He will tell you what we are doing. He might not come to gestation in one day. When you finish, if you find time, go to Minister of Livestock. Go to Water Resources. And I've been trying my spare time to talk to those ministers, to know that they mean well and where they are going. And don't forget that some of the state governors are doing well to complement the huge fund they are getting from Mr. President, from the Federation Accounts Commission. On my boss, President Buhari, I went to Jos. for the burial of late General J.T. Husseini, and a branch briefly to Bauchi to attend the Broadcasting Organization of Nigerian AGM. I have not called the President Buhari to know what happened. But the truth of the matter is that the Buhari is an introvert by nature. And he's not the one that would like to interfere with what President Tinubu is doing. That should be taken a note of. And secondly, and most importantly, I've even heard stories in the news that he didn't attend the National Economic Council and that the RFI did not attend, my friend Amechi did not attend. Amechi RFI them are not members of the National Executive Council. They are members of the National Advisory Committee and the National Caucus, which is advisory. If somebody is very busy, he can, by WhatsApp, send his contribution to the national chairman of the party. So I don't see why we're making a mountain out of a molehill. I don't see much that, if you know Buhari, he told us even before his exit from Aso Villa, that he will go to Daura and have his rest. And that if he's pushed further, he might even go to Niger. So I hope he's not pushed further so that he doesn't go to Niger.
I didn't see the Amechis of this world in the caucus meeting. If you say they are members of the advisory caucus, I didn't see them in the caucus meeting. No. Is it that there was an oversight? This one, 2023 is coming. You say all these people will just say, no, you know, we can't be there. But I saw Amechi at the Babangida Book Club. I didn't see him at this APC gathering. So, and he lives in Abuja there. So is it
I will ask him.
He didn't hear that it was going on? Is it that he didn't hear that it was going on?
You asked him why you see him.
And I'm probably sure that he's still on some APC WhatsApp groups. So probably he didn't hear. In fact, they announced it on TV. I don't know if watching the rise. I'm sure he didn't hear that caucus was going on and everything.
All right. Okay, let me ask.
I told you that I came back. I came back day before yesterday from Bauchi. Okay. I will find time and I'll call them. And if you call me again, I will come and clarify.
Okay, that would be really good. Okay, Mr. Okechukwu, I want you to talk about the 8.9 billion naira debt that the current chairman said he inherited from the NWC. How did a party like yours, that's been the ruling party for the last at least 8 years, now still in power, incur such a huge amount of debt to the tune of 8.9 billion naira? Do you have your books? Are your books open? When last was it audited? Who were the people? I mean, what is the justification? That's a huge sum of money.
I'm happy with this question. But please remember as well that the same chairman had also pleaded with membership and friends of the APC that we require a national headquarters. That instead of going to Wuse, because we are having a meeting, the inhabitants on those streets will not come out from their houses. And he talked about the Progressive Institute that should have a house as well. That's very important. On why we accumulated debt is very simple. From day one, this same President Tinubu established a biometric registration quartered in Lagos. We were only to do Anambra in 2013 with that machine. When this information and misinformation got to the then President Jonathan, and he instructed the State Department Security to go and close it down. Since that closed down, ruptured our plan to have biometric membership seamlessly, which you could have had from foundation. And that could have met with one of the conditions we have in this constitution, that members should have some token to contribute. If that token was done, we couldn't have been owing. Because we are now bedeviled with a situation.
Okay, so we need to
where those who went to court in different...
Mr. Okechukwu, we need to go, but I don't think you've even touched the question yet. I asked about 8.9 billion naira debt. You're talking about biometrics. What is responsible for this? Just in 30 seconds, because we need to go.
He came from
legal fees for how many years? For how many years? So you mean the APC doesn't have enough money? APC as it stands, with how many governors, a sitting president, and an immediate past sitting president? So is the APC broke as we go?
We didn't do...
Is the APC broke?
We didn't do what PDP used to do. When PDP was in the presidency, they were taxing ministers. We didn't do so.
Okay, so is the APC broke? Yes or no before we go? Is the APC broke?
If there's any way you could help us to offset the debts, please help us.
I'm just a journalist. Is the APC...
Are you reckless spenders, or people who are supposed to send you money are not sending it? Are you living beyond your means, or people are not fulfilling obligations?
Legal fees. Don't forget.
Okay, we need to go.
That will run all the election in the country.
Is the lawyers.
Run all the election.
We'll speak to them for you. Thank you, Mr. Okechukwu.
Thank you so much, Mr. Okechukwu. And good to hear if I'm able to donate my stipend to offset the 8.9 billion naira legal fees, then I'll talk to you.